Go ahead, buddy.
First question here for John. In these next 8 weeks, as the fight builds up and the hype builds up, there'll be plenty of discussion and commentary about you and your history. I'm wondering, is that something you try to block out or something that you focus on as a source of motivation?
I just try to block it out. First of all, New York, what's up, guys? Woo-hoo! It is good to be home. Sorry that I'm not fighting at this event, but I promise you guys I will fight at the Garden soon. That's a promise. Even though I'll have to pay 9% to the government, I'll do it. As far as all the controversy and all the shit that I've just got out of, I just try to block it out. At the end of the day, I'm here, I'm in the present, and I'm back on the mission that I've always been on. That's to solidify my spot as one of the greatest fighters ever.
Go ahead.
John, welcome back. Was there ever a chance that you could have headlined this event this weekend at MSG? What was the process there?
Yeah, we talked about fighting this weekend at MSG, but I wasn't ready to go. I wasn't in the shape I wanted to be in, and so we just waited a few more months. But
Daniel Cormier is, of course, fighting for the heavyweight title. He's defending his belt. He said that if he loses the heavyweight title, he can still go back down and defend the 205-pound title, and I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Cormier said if he loses
the heavyweight belt, he can go back down to light heavyweight, keep that belt, and defend it next. How do you feel about that?
Cormier said that he can go back down to light heavyweight at any point and
defend that belt.
Defend the belt?
Title this weekend.
Defend the belt that was never his? I don't understand how that works. If Daniel Cormier wants to come back down to light heavyweight, he'll challenge one of the contenders, for my belt.
So you would not grant him a shot, a fight?
Say it again?
You would not grant him a fight in that case?
There's no reason to grant him a fight. He got knocked out the last time we fought. Yeah.
And just last thing, John, I know that you and your team weren't happy with some of the reports that came out about the USADA news and how it was depicted. Do you want to clarify anything about what that report said and what your perspective was on it?
No, I don't want to clarify anything. I felt like I said what I had to say about the situation. It was a nightmare to go through. So glad that it's over. And I'm just focusing on the positive things in life, like having my job back and being able to get back on that mission that I was on when I first joined the UFC, which is being the greatest fighter ever.
The last time you fought Alex, you spoke a lot about how you maybe didn't take the fight the most seriously. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that, and how are things different in your preparation to fight him this time around?
Yeah, the last time I fought Alexander Gustafsson, a lot of people, I remember the media was saying, this guy's he's a lot like John Jones. He's tall, he's lanky, he can move and everything like that. And in my head, I just kind of, I was hot. I was on a roll. And I just figured, maybe he fights a lot like me, but he's not me, And so I didn't train. I didn't train as hard as I should have. And I just, like I said, I was winning so many fights. I was being a wild dude, and I was still winning. And it caught up to me. It definitely caught up to me.
Excuses, only excuses. That's all I hear, nothing else. That's all I hear. I beat you once, I can beat you again.
And I guess this could be for both John and Alex. John, this has probably been your most competitive fight you've had, the first one. So how do you see it going down? Are you aiming for a more thorough, dominant performance this time around?
This is a hard time understanding.
Say it again.
John,
it's hard to hear up here for us.
The first fight was probably one of your closest ever. Is the goal this time around to make it much more clear-cut and dominant?
Yeah, the goal is to finish this fight, and that's what I will do. I will finish this fight.
And then for Alex, just your take on this. This is your third chance at a UFC title. The first two didn't go your way. Why is this time going to be different?
Well, I'm very fortunate to have a third time fight for the belt again, and I'm fighting John. It's like it's the biggest fight of my life, and I would respect him too much the first fight we fought. This fight, I'm not going to give him the respect I gave him the first time. I'll push him. I will push him, and I will show the world you can beat the man that's never been beaten before.
And one for Dana. Dana, in your opinion, up there, is this the greatest male?
I got a question
fighter?
for you, Alex.
I'm here.
So, if my excuse was that I didn't train hard enough, what's your excuse for losing?
Well, that's where you're wrong. I didn't lose, John. We all know that. I didn't lose.
All right.
Alex, when I've spoken to you in the past, you've told me that fighting John and beating John was more important to you than winning the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. You get the chance to do both at this fight, but why was that your mindset?
Well, I got the same mindset right now. It's I'm fighting for the belt, and that's huge. That's massive. You know, it's the biggest fight of my life, and I'm fighting John. It's even bigger. You know, because I got an opportunity to fight him again. I got an opportunity to beat him, and I can show the world he's beatable. He bleeds like everyone else, and I'm going to show it the 29th. I promise you.
And like Mike said, this is your third title shot. Are you viewing this as your last chance at the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship?
No, just getting started.
And for John, can I just start by asking what you've learned most about yourself during this recent absence?
That was good. No more dick pills, right? None. I'm good, huh? More foreplay. Let's say. Let's see here. What have I learned? I've learned that. I've learned to put what's most important first, and that's my family. That's my family. That's it. That's it. Keep my family first. Keep God and family first.
And what have you missed most about being in the UFC and being a professional fighter?
What do I miss most of? All you guys, really. Really. It's good to be here, man. I feel a lot of energy, even as I sit here. So I've missed all you guys.
Dana White yesterday said that if you beat Alex, it'll be hard to deny you as the greatest fighter of all time. Are you viewing this as a legacy-cementing fight?
No, I don't. I try not to make any fight the biggest fight of my career. My fight is the fight to be the best ever, and that comes with every fight. You know, just the last time I was up here was against Daniel Cormier. He had so much to prove and all this shit. And I don't worry about individual athletes. I worry about the journey, not the individual battles. So I'm already way ahead of this fight here. You know, Gustafsson doesn't define me. I have a lot of fighting to do. So that's where my head's at. Just becoming the best.
Before UFC 214, I asked you about fighting Brock Lesnar, and you said, first I'm going to deal with DC, and then I'm going to deal with Brock Lesnar. You didn't get that opportunity. Is that a fight you still want?
Yeah, I would like to fight Brock Lesnar still. Absolutely. I think Brock Lesnar is one of the most entertaining guys. You know, people want to see him in the UFC against entertaining guys. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the opportunity to still compete against Brock Lesnar.
Dana, just to follow up on that, we've seen that Brock Lesnar was performing this evening in Saudi Arabia. Is he welcome tomorrow at UFC 230?
Yeah, people keep asking me that, but he's not coming here. He's not coming to the fight.
Just back to John as well. DC's been talking this week about potentially wanting a third fight with you, maybe at heavyweight. Is that of interest? Would you like that fight?
I would fight DC at heavyweight, but I feel like I have nothing to prove. I've beaten him twice, and I feel like fighting him at heavyweight is putting all the cards in his favor. I have nothing to prove against Daniel Cormier. I always say that a lot of this fighting is not personal to me. You know, my goals are just to be great. It's not about these individual rivals. So me challenging Daniel Cormier would be making it a personal thing. If he had beat me, then I could see me challenging him. But it's like I've done enough to that guy. I'm going to let him breathe easy and enjoy some of his stuff.
Just one last one for Alex. Alex, you fought John Jones before. You fought Daniel Cormier before. Who's the tougher fight?
No, the guy right to me. He's a tough opponent, but that makes the whole thing much more funner for me.
Did you beat DC as well?
But I will beat you. I will beat you.
No, I mean, we had a close fight. Do you consider that you get ripped off in the DC fight as well?
It was a split decision. I lost, but I will beat you, John.
But you did beat me, but you lost to DC.
Whatever it is, yeah, I did, but I beat you.
What about Anthony Johnson? Did you beat him?
No, but I still beat you, John.
What about
It's
Phil
all
Davis?
about our fight.
What about Phil Davis? Did you beat him too?
No, I beat you.
I'm just trying to give you a psychological evaluation.
That's the only thing that counts. Nothing else, John.
Just making sure.
It's just the past.
John. For you, John, coming back after this long layoff, I mean, time and time off can really damage a fighter. How do you know that it's not going to affect you for this one?
Because I've been training my butt off this whole time. I've been boxing nonstop, and I feel like that's been one of the biggest holes in my game is my hands, and I feel like I've closed that hole up a lot. I'm still not, a world-class boxer, but it's a lot better than it used to be. So I've been boxing all summer, and I can feel it in my sparring already that my hands have completely changed, my defensively and offensively.
Are you sure?
No, I think so.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. There you go, a little personality. Keep going. And then, I took off a year before knocking out Daniel Cormier, so I feel confident in myself. And then the other time when I was out a year, I won by unanimous decision against Oven St. Preux. So every time I've been out for a long time, I've always come back and showed up. I feel like fighting is in my spirit. It's in my heart. It's something that God blessed me with. So it's not going anywhere.
Dana said something interesting about, winning allows you to somewhat erase the mistakes of your youth. Do you feel like those can be erased, or you just want to embrace that they happen and move on?
I don't feel like they can be erased, no. But I do feel like society that we live in, people are able to forgive and forget as long as you show signs of trying to do better and trying to move forward. At the end of the day, we all have done things that we're not proud of, and that we've all made mistakes. The difference with being who I am is that you can Google me and figure out what's going on in my life. So I don't beat myself up over anything that's happened throughout my life. I forgive myself. I think that's very important to be able to do. And like I said, we all make mistakes. It's about what we do moving forward. I have a lot more chapters left in my book to write.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Over here, John. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the main event this weekend between Derek Lewis and Daniel Cormier. How do you think it's going to play out, and what's your prediction?
I'm a big fan of Derek Lewis. I got to say that, man. He's hilarious. My balls are hot. That's great. That's classic. I think, I'm a PR nightmare, right? If I were to say my balls were hot, it just wouldn't have gone over the same way. It was like, fuck that guy. But he pulled it off, and it's become a sensation. I love it. I'm so confused with PR and all this shit. It's just not my thing.
I would prefer my balls are hot over some of your PR nights.
Yeah.
We could get past it.
Yeah. I do have DC winning the fight. DC's very fast. For his frame, you wouldn't assume that he's fast, but he's quick and very well rounded. And that's the key to being on top at this game. You got to be able to do everything, and that's what DC has done very well. So DC's gonna win more than likely.
Just a follow-up question. While you've been away, have you been watching the light heavyweight division? What do you make of guys like Anthony Smith, guys like Luke Rockhold possibly moving up into the division?
Nice. Yeah, Luke would be a great addition. He's a very talented dude. Anthony Smith, I saw his last fight. I've been reading some of the comments he's been saying about me publicly or whatnot, and yeah, I don't think he's at the point where he needs to be yet. Volkan's not known to be a ground specialist, and he was handling Anthony on the ground for a long time. So things like that shows me that Anthony is not ready to fight against me. But I'm more than willing to make him my first title defense after I beat Alexander.
Go ahead, buddy.
Alex, since your first fight with John, twice he's been suspended for performance-enhancing drugs. Although critics are split on whether they believe his reasonings or believe it affected his legacy, what's your personal opinion of those two suspensions and whether John was a clean fighter when you fought him?
I don't care about that. It's in the past. I don't care about that at all. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to face John, and we're going to have a greater fight than the first one. I can promise you that.
Face forward.
you.